too hot in Texas for this thing to even work. Every single time, man. Try to get this up here and it falls. All right, we're back for another story time video. I have two stories. I don't know which one I want to tell. The last story time that I gave y'all was about me moving out at 18, and so I thought it was only appropriate to follow up with a story that happened when I was 19. So it's kind of like in order. Today's story time is going to be about how I got arrested when I was 19 years old. And if anybody is passing judgment on me, it's okay. Pass your judgment. I don't care, because I've done my time. I've paid my dues. It's over. It was a long time ago. And honestly, I was a child. At 19, you are a straight up child. Is that any excuse for what I did? Hell no. But I just feel like, you know, you do dumb things when you're young, and it is what it is, and I paid my dues, so I'm at peace with it, and I'm not embarrassed or anything. It's a part of my life. It is what it is. So to start off, I was 19 years old. I was still with this crazy ex, the one that I moved into his house in the last story time that I told you guys. I will put a card here if you didn't catch that story time. But yeah, I was still with that guy at the time. And I was hanging out with some kids that, you know, we were all kind of not doing the best things in this point in life. I lived in a small town and there wasn't too much to do. So a lot of people did drugs. We all like smoked weed and, you know, drank when we weren't supposed to be drinking, and partying, and you know, I lived that lifestyle. I lived the party lifestyle. There's no excuse for it being a small town, but just most of the time when you live in a small town and there's not much to do, like, that's what you do. But then again, there's people who grew up in the city and they do that too, so whatever. That's the kind of crew I was hanging out with. I didn't like being straight edge. I didn't want to hang out with straight edge people. I thought they were boring. I was in with the wrong crowd. I was the wrong crowd. And I didn't grow up super fortunate. Now, way more fortunate than most people in this world, but you know, you always want more. Like, we as humans, we always want more no matter what we have. So I grew up good, but it was like tight, penny pinching tight, you know, always on a budget, couldn't get the most expensive things, couldn't get a lot of certain things. Like, I couldn't just spend money willy-nilly. Like, my parents didn't just have money to throw at me to spend just because I wanted to, right? So from a very young age, since 14 years old, I've always had a job. Since 14 years old, I've been working constantly. I've always had a job just to have my own spending money, because my parents obviously were not going to be providing that spending money. So when I would go out with friends, I'd be embarrassed because I didn't have money to like go to the movies, and I didn't have money to go shopping at the mall, or if I went to the mall with them, I could never buy anything, and I felt really embarrassed and awkward. And it sucks because I wanted to buy cute stuff. I wanted to be trendy. Like, high school is a hard time, so that's why I always had jobs. Now, to get more to the point, I just had to give you a little background. So I was hanging out with this one girl a lot, and we would go to the mall together and just walk around, and we would normally just like not really buy anything because we didn't just have like spending money like that. And I would see her shoplifting, and I was like, how do you do that? She's like, I do it all the time. And I was like, what? Like, you just take stuff and you never get caught, and then you have brand new clothes and new shoes and awesome stuff? And she's like, yeah, I do it all the time. I can show you. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I would love to have nice things. I would love to have more clothes and more shoes and more jewelry and like really cute things. Like, why not? I do know right from wrong. Of course I know it's wrong, you know what I mean? But I was also under the influence of all kinds of things, and probably not wanting to make the best choice for myself at the time. I have a lot of like issues from like being hurt, and like how I grew up with like my parents split and all this kinds of stuff, and like always basically being like, feeling like an orphan child, and I wasn't an orphan child. This is not a pity party. I'm just explaining that I used to go to psychologists, and they would always tell me that like I had abandonment issues and I felt alone and this, that, and the other. So I think a lot of my adolescence was spent rebelling and just doing crazy things, almost to like get attention and like see if my parents cared about me. Do you know what I mean? Because I got away with so much stuff, you guys. Like, I did so many. Okay, the problem child, did you ever watch Degrassi? Remember back when Degrassi had Drake in it? Like, before Drake was famous, he was in Degrassi. Back in those days, you know how like they do all these crazy things, and then there's like a lesson at the end of like why you shouldn't have done that and this and that. Well, all of those crazy things that they did, I did. Like, I was like the problem child, okay? Like, not even until, I mean, it probably only started when I was 17, but like I did so much crap, and I feel like it was just like a cry for attention. So I feel like making the decision to be like, yeah, let me learn how to shoplift. Hell yeah. Like, I want free stuff. That's awesome, because I don't have enough money to go to the movies with my friends and buy dinner and go shopping. I only have money for one because I have a part-time job in retail that pays me like $7 an hour. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted it all. So at the time, my mentality was like, I think I never really wanted to make the right decision. I knew in my heart what the right decision was, which is to not break the law, but I didn't want to make the right choice because I was like, screw it, who cares about me anyways? Like, what am I going to grow up to be anyways? Like, I'm just a deadbeat. Like, my parents are divorced, they don't care about me, they can't focus on me, I'm not going to college. Like, who really cares? Like, this is what I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to do drugs, I'm supposed to be a hood rat, like, I'm supposed to steal, and I'm probably gonna have a really frowned upon job when I grow up or something, you know? Like, that was my mentality when I was younger. I don't know why, but I do know why, but it's just like a lot to explain. But anyway, so I'm like, yes, girl, teach me. So we literally go to the mall, we go to a bunch of stores. She shows me how she steals a pair of shoes from Payless. I'm like, how in the world? This girl doesn't even have a big purse. Somehow she stole a pair of shoes for Payless. I mean, this girl was the guru of shoplifting. She showed me how to steal clothes and bras and all this stuff, and then I tried it out with her. I wasn't even nervous. That's the scary part, is I wasn't even nervous. I was like, this is like normal to me. Like, this, I'm numb to everything because I was doing drugs and I was doing bad things already. I was doing illegal things already. So I was numb to that feeling of like, oh my God, this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, she teaches me the way and everything. And then one day, I go alone without her. Now, normally what I would do is I would put the clothes underneath my clothes and just wear them out. That's how I would take the tags off in the dressing room of a place that it was so busy that they didn't have people at the dressing room door checking your items. That's where I would go, and I would take off the tags and I would put them underneath my clothes and then wear my clothes on top and just leave. Now, the next time that I went, I had my boyfriend at the time drop me off at the place I wanted to go to. And what I did to be smart, because I was like, you know, I feel like one of these days, like, what if I get caught? Like, I need to make this seem more real. I need to look less sketchy. I can't be doing this, because what if I get caught and ruin it and mess it up and I can't do it anymore? So what I did was I picked out some clothes, but I had a big purse. And it wasn't like I brought luggage in there, you know what I mean? It was a normal looking purse, but instead of wearing the clothes, I took off the tags and I bunched them up in little tiny rolls. I put the clothes in my purse instead, which was like the worst decision ever, but the best decision ever, because I learned my lesson. But yeah, so, and then I decided to buy one item. So I bought one item and I took the rest in my purse. Now, I had paid for my shorts. I had all my stuff in my purse and I was ready to go. I was like, I made it. I get outside. I'm crossing the crosswalk from the mall to the parking lot, going over to where my boyfriend at the time was going to pick me up. He was waiting for me in the car. So I'm literally almost at the car, and a man comes running, and he's like, ma'am, miss, ma'am, you need to get back here right now. And I was like, no, I have my boyfriend waiting for me. What are you talking about, you creep? Like, I knew in my heart, obviously, what I had just done. I had done something illegal. I knew it. But I was trying to play it off like, why are you being a creeper? Don't touch me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't touch me. Get your hands off me. Because he was grabbing my arm. And I don't think they're allowed to grab you, but he did. And I was like, sir, you need to get off me now. My boyfriend's waiting for me. Leave me alone. I'm just trying to get to my car. What's your problem? But he didn't even tell me that he was loss prevention. Now, at this time, I did not even know what loss prevention was, obviously, because I'm stupid and I was shoplifting. So I didn't even know that was a thing. I finally decide to just go back inside with him because I felt so guilty. That's the thing about me, y'all. Is like, I have made plenty of mistakes, but I know when I have done something wrong, and I will pay for it. I will do, what is it called, penance? I will repent, something like that. I will pay my dues for doing something wrong. But, you know, everybody has to learn a lesson at some point or another. I don't regret getting arrested at all. So anyways, I let the man take me back, and he takes me into the loss prevention room. I didn't even know this place existed. I am terrified. I am so freaking scared. Like, I can't believe that I just did this. I can't believe that I chose to do this all to have some brand new clothes and some accessories. Like, it's just so stupid. Like, what is wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking about everything. My life is flashing before my eyes right now. Then I start to hyperventilate because to this point, I had never been in trouble like this. So I was hyperventilating and I had anxiety, like, to hear, and they were like, do we need to call an ambulance for you? Like, are you having a panic attack? I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was freaking out. I was like crying so bad. Like, can I just call my boyfriend? It was that kind of cry. I was like, can I please just call my boyfriend to let him know where I am? I just want to let him know where I am. And they were like, no, you cannot call anybody until the police get here. And I was like, but I just want to let somebody know what's happening to me. I don't care if I go to jail. I just need to tell somebody what's going on so that they know. You know what I mean? Like, he's just sitting out there waiting for me, and I felt bad. Like, what, you know, he has no idea what happened to me. So they were like, no, you can't call anybody until the police gets here, because for all we know, he's sitting outside with weapons armed, ready to come in here. And I was like, really? Like, I know you're being careful and I appreciate that and I get it, but I'm like, really, dude? I'm just like a teenager who's broke and wanted to get some new clothes. Like, I'm not trying to shoot up this place for these clothes. Like, they weren't even expensive bougie ass clothes. They were regular clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, okay, like, we don't have a gun and that's not our plan, but whatever. So I had to wait for the cop to get there. I'm thinking, you know, maybe he'll get here in a half an hour or something. It's a small town. It's not like it's a huge town or anything where they should be far away. No, it takes him 3 hours to get to the mall. I'm sitting there hyperventilating, crying my eyes out. And then he finally gets there. I make my phone call. I let him know. And then I tell him to call my mom because I only have one phone call. So then finally I get taken to the police station. First I got handcuffed in the mall and they carried my stuff for me, and he walked me out in the middle of the mall with my hands behind my back. It was so embarrassing because, like, it's a small town. I know plenty of people who shop at the mall, and I was like, please don't let anybody I know see me right now. This is so humiliating. I am so stupid. I am so stupid. I am so stupid. We finally get to the police car, and we get in, and I've seen this plenty of times on movies and shows. So I'm like, okay, it'll be fine. It's gonna be okay. No, there's no room in the back seat, girl. No room. And my hands are tied behind my back. Not in front, behind. Because I guess they thought I was a threat for some reason. So anyways, I'm behind like this. I can't even sit right because your hands are behind your back. So you're sitting like this. And there's probably this much knee space between the edge of your seat and the back of their seat. Okay? So I'm literally like the most uncomfortable you could ever imagine. It was the most awkward situation. I was like, I understand that we're being punished and everything, and I understand I did something wrong. But if I can't even sit in a seat to get to the jail, I mean, this is kind of... We get to the station, and it starts going down. Ish is real now. Like, it is real now. I rode a cop car. I looked out the window the whole time. I saw people judging me, staring at me. What did she do? What did she do? What did she do? Then we get there, and they take the cuffs off, and I'm green. Literally green. That's how tight they had my cuffs on. I had that marking for about 2-3 days. It stayed green like that. They fingerprinted me, and they recorded the tattoos that I had. I think at the time I only had my first tattoo and this tattoo right here, and they recorded that. That way if I ever got arrested again, they'd be able to identify me faster. They took my mugshot and all that. And then I ended up having to pay my own bail after sitting in the jail cell for about an hour. It might have been a little less than an hour, like maybe like 50 minutes or something like that. It wasn't that much time, but oh my God, even just an hour, I was so much with anxiety. I was having panic attacks. I was feeling remorseful, guilty. I felt terrible. I never wanted that feeling again. So thankfully, I did have some money in my wallet. I know, I'm a disgusting person, and instead of paying for my clothes, I stole them so I could keep my money because I was a greedy beesh. So thankfully I had just the right amount of money once the bail, I think it was like the bail's bondsman, I don't know what it was, but somebody had to come for me to be able to bail myself out. And I was able to bail myself out. I think it was like $40 I had to pay to leave that day. And then I had my boyfriend at the time come pick me up. And he was there with our friend, our mutual friend, and it was like the most embarrassing feeling ever was coming out to see your friends, and they're just like, you're all right? And I'm just like, yeah. So shameful. I'm so embarrassed. That was a crappy time. And I ended up having to do a year's worth of community service. And I had to pay a fine of $250 because I had larceny under $250. I think that's what it was, larceny under $250. It was a misdemeanor. So after I paid my fines and after I did all of my community service hours, it was like annulled. It came off my record. Thank God. I forgot to mention that I did have to go to court like ever so often. I had to go to court and stuff, and they were like, do you want to fight for yourself? Like, do you want to hire a lawyer? And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Am I supposed to hire a lawyer? Why do I hire a lawyer when I did it? And they were like, so what do you plead? And I'm like, I plead guilty because you caught me. What are you talking about? Like, I'm guilty. And they're like, so do you want to represent yourself? And I'm like, sure. So I just represented myself in court, and then I just paid the fees, did my community service, and I was done. And I was like, I did it. Never doing that again. Just want to be clear. Never, ever going to do that again. Unlike some people out there who get arrested and make mistakes, I learn from my mistakes when it happens. A lot of people don't, and it's truly sad, because that ex that I was with at that time, he went to jail many times after my incident, and he just never learned his lessons. Now I can't speak for him today, but at that point in time I was like, when are you gonna learn your lesson? Like, stop going to jail. Like, dang, man. Like, you know exactly what not to do. And, you know, we already know what not to do, but sometimes we test the boundaries and it happens. But after you go to jail or after you get arrested or something, you should probably learn your lesson. It is what it is. Please, please don't break the law, y'all. Don't break the law. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and tell you what to do because it's like I'm the one that made mistakes. But if you're unhappy, don't break the law thinking that it's gonna make you happy. It's not. And I'm talking about all kinds of stuff like drugs, you know, stealing, hurting people, robbery. That's not gonna make your life better. So anyways, I always like to end my story times with a little life lesson. I learned my lesson. It's not worth it. I would rather work my ass off to get paid and buy things myself. And that is why I have 3 jobs now, because I take pride in the money that I earn, and I take pride in the fact that everything I have, I bought it, or my husband and I worked together as a team and we bought it together. That makes me very proud. So out of all of this, I learned my lesson, and it made me appreciate the value of a dollar much more. It made me appreciate the roof over my head, my family, my friends. It made me appreciate like everything, you know what I'm saying? Because if I would have kept going and I never got caught at 19, what if I was still doing the same thing by now and it got to a bigger scale? I could have been in jail for life, you know what I'm saying? So I am glad that I got arrested at 19 because I learned my lesson very early so I could start real adulthood later. Anyways, I could talk forever and ever about these kinds of things, you guys, but all I wanted to say was just be careful, and please think twice about your decisions and try to make the best decision, because you don't want it to follow you around for the rest of your life. That's it for this story time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like my story times, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I will definitely make more for you. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can see whenever I post videos. I have tons of stuff like vlogs, hauls, makeup videos, reviews. I'm even doing some clean with me videos lately. And that's gonna be it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!